My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Noonas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And as you'll see, there are only three of us. Jessie is on a little hiatus for a little while because she has a big work project that's taking up literally all of her time. So she cannot be here with us for a little bit, but she will be back. It's not the end. It's not the end of the floor. Don't worry. It's just a work project. So we're going to be taking home today, just the three of us. And just in time for everyone's favorite episode that we do. That's right. It's time for what we're watching. What have we been watching for the month of September? What have our eyeballs been glazed onto? So I think today we will just go with age order. So, Amanda, take it away. What have you been watching?
Oh, well, I'll start at the top of my list and Dear Little Mermaid. It's a sea drama from this year. There's no mermaids. It's not about mermaids.
Is it about swimming?
Misleading.
No, it's not. I don't know. I really have no idea where the title comes from, what the purpose is. But it's a really cute sort of second chance story about these two who were best friends and sweethearts in high school and just absolutely adored each other, did everything together. And then she found out she had this illness, and I'm not far enough along yet to know whether it is the same illness that killed her mother or not, but her mother also died. And she was just like, she didn't know if she was also going to wind up dying young. She was really sick. She didn't know what was going on. So she bolted. He went away to college. He was a year older than her. He went away to college. They were supposed to meet up when he came back, and she wasn't there. And they haven't seen each other. And now it's like 8 or 10 years later, whatever. He's a doctor and he sees her trying to scale the wall to like escape their hospital. And he's like, what the heck is going on here? And she's like, dang it. And this is kind of how they met the first time in high school, where she was trying to scale a wall to get away from the school. And she landed on him. So he's like, all right. And he just immediately inserts himself back into her life. Like, I am going to get to the bottom of this. And they're adorable. And he loves her so much. It's still now, like, so many years later. And, like, he still hasn't figured out exactly what the problem is or what's going on. But, like, it's just very cute. And she's, like, a manga writer. And it's just cute. I'm like,
which country is this originating from?
Chinese.
Oh, China.
So where is it? Where is this airing?
It's on YouTube. It's on Viki.
Nice.
Like, I started watching it on YouTube and then found out that it was on Viki too. So I was like, okay, well, I don't watch it on Viki without, ads popping up and stuff. So, but yeah, like, it's just, I don't know. It's just
nice. Really,
really cute and sweet. And like, every time I kind of think maybe it's going to go into like he's cranky and maybe he's trying to get revenge for her ghosting him all those years ago. No, it's just like, no, I'm here. I'm going to get to the bottom of this and let me, we'll keep on being, we're brand new besties again now.
Reasonable male lead. Say it isn't so.
How far along are you?
I don't know. My drama list says I'm 3 episodes, but I'm certain I'm farther along than that. I think more like 5 or 6. Their two besties had a drunken one night stand. And his
Scandal.
best friend, the doctor, thinks that she is pregnant from this one night stand. She's not, but like, he can't get it through his head that she's not.
Oh, so he's stupid.
Like, he's a doctor, but he's dumb. And he's like, so he's planned like big like proposals and like big flashy and stuff. And she's like,
embarrassing.
What the heck is wrong with you? And she's like the boss of the publishing company that has I don't know if it's just that it's the publishing company that has her manga, or if it's a publishing company that sort of grew up around how popular her manga is.
Do you ever see like the art from, her stuff?
A little bit, but not like, not a ton so far. But she does also, she does art classes for fans can like sign up to come do in-person art classes with her and stuff. And he's weasels his way into one. And
is that like a real thing? I've never heard of that.
No, but like one of his, it's cute because like one of his patients who's in the hospital and can't leave, she had signed up and paid for this class, and she was really sad that she couldn't go. So he was like, if you promise, she kept trying to escape the hospital, and he was like, if you promise to just sit still and like take your treatments and everything, I will go to the class for you and like take notes kind of thing. And so then he shows up and she's like, you can't be here, because she's trying really hard to like be like, no, you're from the past, you can't be in my current life. And he's like, well, watch me, baby. Like, and it's very cute, and it's lots of like trip and get close to each other, but then like she gives back as good as she gets. So like he flirts with her and she sort of flirts back, but then he'll like drop it like, no, we're gonna wait and see, you got to come to me because you were the one that took off, kind of thing, which is all you look for in a C-drama rom-com.
It's true.
And
Right?
there's usually not much plot.
No.
No. And there really isn't here. Like, obviously, at some point, most of the plot is
it's
nonsense.
It's character based. The plot is more the character's journey towards romance or whatever. Like,
like all the plot, quotation marks, is mostly the two besties. Anyway, Dear Little Mermaid, it's adorable. And it's available all over the place. So
and no mermaids.
YouTube and Viki. No mermaids. So it's not supernatural.
No,
do not be hoodwinked by the title.
Mermaids in the manga. Like, it's just a normal high school manga.
Bizarre.
Like,
I feel like this is probably I feel like maybe there's like a Chinese colloquialism that has to do with mermaids that maybe is something like, I don't know, like, finding
friends
love after a period of time. But like, we don't know what this colloquialism is, and it's just directly translated. So if it was in Chinese, it would make sense. But we're just like, why is it called mermaid?
Yeah, and these
are sorts of things.
There's not even like other titles or something on here. Like sometimes there's like also
5 titles.
It's just also known as the Chinese words for the title. Like it's
like I feel like it's probably something like that, like some sort of bizarre not bizarre, but just like a colloquialism that we don't know, that
we're unaware of.
C-dramas,
that's just sometimes the titles are just nonsense.
Jumble into a title and be like, here you go. Just be happy that it doesn't just have love in the title.
Exactly. Speaking of shows that just have love in the title, I've been watching on IGE, against my better will, but I have good news. The new Thai drama Love in the Air, which is set in the same universe, but with different characters than as Stern Type and Don't Say No and all that. So like the MAME verse, if you're familiar. Now, I had pretty big reservations upon starting this because the track record with her shows has not been fantastic on the consent in relationships,
but not
side.
Good for you.
However, I need to start preface this. I have gone on record as saying I really liked Don't Say No. And I feel like, which ironically had the best consent for the title being Don't Say No, had the best consent in relationships out of any of the other things that she's written. I find that hilarious. And it seems like someone's talked to her. So I think like someone's been like, hey, people are really concerned about these sketchy like relationship dynamics. Because while this is a show, so it's basically there's two main couples, but we haven't gotten into the second couple yet. So it's focusing on the first couple for the first half of the show and the second couple for the second half. So we're still in the first half. What is a sort of like a light dom sub relationship. And I feel like this has confused some youngins who are watching this show who think that is abuse, but it's not, because everyone's into it. Like,
and
you learn
consented and had
you learn very quickly that, like, yeah, he's into it. Okay, like he's a little bitch about it, but like that's like part of, there's what they call a bratty sub, if you know the terms. Like, so I've seen a lot of TikToks being like, this is sexual assault. I'm like, no. Guys, please stop throwing these terms around, because it devalues actual sexual assault, because that is not what's happening here. But with MAME, I understand. With MAME, you never know. You never know. So, but anyway, I've been really enjoying it. It follows the high school, not high school. Woo, back up. University. It follows there's no high schoolers in this. Okay. Woo, that was a misspeak. A university student, architecture student, who on a rainy night, his car breaks down, and this motorcycle his tire blows or something, and he doesn't know how to change a spare tire. And then this motorcyclist shows up, and he's like, hey, I'll help you. Like, and so he changes his tire, and then the motorcyclist is wearing like a mask, and then like he pulls his mask down. Oh no, the motorcyclist is so hot. Just woo. So then he's like, wow, like you're like so hot and cool. Like, so thank you. He's like thinking he'll never see this man again. Turns out this guy has graduated from architecture school and is like an alumni. And so he gets, he meets up again, and this guy is a bit of a dumb. He's like an architect, but he owns a like upscale mechanic shop with his brother, who they say are twins, and that he's the older one, but his brother looks at least 6 years older than him. Like, I don't know sometimes the casting is a
hard
little
living.
Yeah, just like, listen, one of them, like he's a good looking man, but like I'm like, wait, he's the younger brother.
It's always funny when shows though might be aware of that, and then they'll put in jokes about it.
Yeah.
That's when they're self-aware. That's when.
Yeah, like Reply 1988 always had the joke about the younger brother looking like an old man, right?
Yeah.
So then this motorcyclist, Payu, decides he's going to romance this architecture student, and the architect student's like, oh, but I'm not a homosexual. Like, but then like he's like, well, I'm going to convince you to love me, and then I'm going to dump you. Like, that's what I'm going to do. But of course it it goes poorly, Sure. Anyway, it's surprisingly cute. And then there's this whole subplot involving like an underground street racing. Like, so there's also motorcycle racing for reasons unbeknownst to me, because they don't really spend all that much time in this. There's like this mysterious like mafioso figure who like runs the street races that like employs this mechanic / architect. Anyway, it's really fun. Like, it's just like a really fun, silly show, and you don't really have to think too much. There are like it is a MAME show, so there are some questionable moments where you're just like, like I get that you like read 50 Shades of Grey and then decided you were gonna like do like a budget dom sub based on that, but like it's fucking weird. It's a little weird, but it's one of her better attempts, shall we say. And that's on iQIYI, and it updates on Thursdays. So if anyone wants to watch it, that's where you can.
How far along is it?
It's episode 6 is dropping. As of the day this is recorded, episode 6 will be out. After this, we'll get into the second couple, which involves the architect student's sassy best friend. I am so sorry about what you're hearing. My cat is the most vocal cat on the planet, and she just literally jumped onto my desk and started meowing right in my face.
She's needy today.
So for me, I've been pretty busy, but I have watched some stuff. I am trying to plow through Alchemy of Souls slowly. Slowly. What was sad about this was, I watched the first episode. We had a watch along for the first episode with the podcast. And then I was way into it. I just haven't had time. So then I did watch a couple episodes weeks ago.
And then you sort of forget what happened.
Oh yeah. And this is the type of show that's a problem. It is a problem with some of the things if you forget what's going on. What I think also happened was I don't think I previewed an episode or something. All I can say is Netflix was showing that I watched an episode I literally did not watch.
It does that to me sometimes too.
So maybe it auto played. You know what I mean? Because it showed that I had watched.
I think it's
the
just
whole
a
thing.
coding issue, because that happens to me sometimes too. And I'm like, I did not watch this. And it'll start I'll watch an episode. What happens with me is I'll watch an episode and then it'll start the next episode, but it'll have skipped an episode, and all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, wait, what the fuck? What the fuck is happening? This is not right. Left off.
And with Alchemy of Souls, the cast that's involved with it, you're not going to be able to tell if you're on the wrong episode.
No, because it's all bouncing around and stuff too.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe you're just showing me something else right now.
So I just returned from a week-long trip. I was like, I want to watch some Alchemy of Souls. And I'm like, but this doesn't seem right because
it doesn't seem familiar to me at all.
I couldn't remember if I stopped, because sometimes I stop in the middle of an episode when I'm watching things so I don't get snookered into, if there's kind of a closure moment, I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop here.
Yeah.
So come to find out, I was only actually in the middle of the episode prior to that. Mm-hmm. And it was all during a point where it was very
heightened.
Not even heightened. It was very detailed explanations of the things that were needing to occur, because it was all one of the main characters working on, getting more of his magic powers going. And there were all these steps, and I was so lost with where in the training process we were. Cause that's a handful of episodes, it seems, going through all these things. But if you're only at the beginning of it, it's very confusing. So I really, really, really enjoy Alchemy of Souls. I do not want to make it sound like it's really that confusing of a show. It is not.
It's not. Yeah.
It is a really good binge. I just haven't had time to binge it.
I have 2 episodes
I'm just saying,
left.
If Netflix confuses you, you might get really confused. So just beware of that. But I'm really, really enjoying it. I really this is the type of... So, if you don't know, Alchemy of Souls is a fantasy, emphasis on the fantasy historical type. So, as far as set in a historical looking fantasy world. So I really like that element, but I also like the balance of, there's just some funny, the relationships of the dynamics of the characters, they're not always serious. They're usually not when it comes to just the main people. So I like the balance of that. That's what helps me. It's I think it's 20 episodes, and then there's going to be another season. I can't give opinions on the whole casting thing, because I obviously have not watched that far. But I think everything will be cool. I'm really, really enjoying it. The costuming's lovely. The cast is great. The acting's marvelous. The CGI
is really good.
It really, really is. But yeah, I really like the dynamics. All the dynamics just crack me up.
Yeah, it's a well-made show.
It makes it sound like... I'm making it sound like that's a constant thing. It's not, because there'll be serious moments of fighting or
It's balanced. It's a balanced show.
Yeah. There's intrigue. Sometimes you just really don't know what the crap's going on, but it's cool, and that's fine. That's fine. But they really do... They explain things pretty well eventually. Sometimes they'll give you... ooh, we're going to show you this, and we're not going to explain it for a few scenes, but then when they do, it's oh, that's what that was. So they usually get around to explaining things. I don't want to make the magic system sound difficult. It's really not. It's just, if you do, you have to watch the training sequences in order, or else you get confused.
Yeah.
It's what are they doing now? Yeah, super. It's really cute too. I also like how they're not, so far I'm on episode 5. I finished episode 5. I feel like they're not forcing romance too quickly. which I really, really like, because that's sometimes a shoehorned thing. And so I appreciate that that's very slow going. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend Alchemy of Souls to a wide variety of people. I'm not saying it is for everyone, but I do think like even a lot of like partners or dudes would like actually be really into this type of show, or even teenagers and stuff. Like I think it's really fun. So.
It's a fun show. It's a fun show. Amanda, what else have you been watching?
Let's see, next on the list. Good job. Korean drama. It's the couple from Blossom Steal the Fate, or recast as leads in this again. It's adorable. I just love it. Like it's very old school K-drama rom-com. Like there's, slip balls and staring into each other's eyes, and it is wacky, and it is hijinks, and it's just, I mean, right from the start, the opening credits, it's JB doing this sort of swing style, caper. It sounds like the theme song that you would see on a detective show from the 60s or 70s or something, right? It's wacky. And the basic premise, basically it's Batman, I'm gonna say. Jung Woo is this super rich guy who runs a company, and in his office in his company there is a bookshelf that swings out of the way so that he can go through his secret tunnel into his bat cave. His bat cave is full of costumes because he is a master of disguise.
Is he super brooding? That's the question.
He kind of is initially, but not really. They kind of try to give you that he's broody, but it's like if Batman were happy. I don't know.
Happy Batman.
Kind of
are his parents dead? These are...
Yes. His brother died over a necklace.
So it's legitimately Batman.
It's a diamond necklace. But this is the whole premise. When it first starts up, he's undercover at an auction for stolen jewelry and stuff. And this necklace that his mother was wearing the night she died that went missing is up for auction. And he wants to find out where the necklace, because it's been missing for 20 years or whatever since his mother died. And he wants to, now this clue has come up and the killer's never been found. This is, he's on the route. He's trying to figure this out. A few episodes in, you discover that it's possible that our female lead might have witnessed the murder and repressed it, but we're not certain. She's having nightmares about something that could possibly be connected, but we don't.
But it's a K-drama, so it probably is connected somehow.
Listen, that's just how these things work.
Exactly. So in his, every Batman needs his Robin. Our Robin is the lawyer. And his law office is connected to the Batcave. He's also
incredible.
As well as being a lawyer, he is a hacker and a super computer nerd dude.
So he's Alfred-esque too.
He is, although there is also an Alfred in the secretary at work who does not know about the stuff going on, but keeps trying to keep his Batman on schedule and on track. Please, could you do some work in this company that you work in?
So it really is. It's Batman without infringing upon the DC copyright.
60s TV Batman. It's the nonsense Batman. Okay,
I love it.
Right,
but without the bat jokes.
Yes. So now over top, the law office is on the second floor of this building, and on the main floor is a bakery owned by our lead's best friend. And our lead is one of 3 siblings. They've all been raised in an orphanage. She and her older brother, he's a police officer. He is a Chief Gordon. They have they've aged out of the orphanage system, but their youngest sister is still in high school. She's still in the orphanage. They have to raise enough money to be sort of shown to be legitimate caretakers or whatever in order to get her out of the orphanage. So for now, she's still in the orphanage because they pay for her school fees and stuff. So, and she works a bajillion different jobs to do all this stuff. And that's how she comes across our lead. Is one of the jobs she works is in the casino that he owns, where she basically she pretends to be a waitress, but her job is she has superpowered eyes. They're eagle eyes. She can like see for miles and like see details. But if she utilizes this power, it gives her massive headaches and like causes her to pass out if she uses it too much. So she has to keep it really minimal. But basically, she's the person who walks around and like finds the cheaters, right? Because she can see when they've slipped stuff up their sleeves and things. And she also makes a bunch of her money off of memorizing the looks of people on wanted posters.
And then finding them.
And our Batman disguises himself as somebody off of a wanted poster in order to make a contact with somebody else off of a wanted poster. And they meet in the casino where she's working, and she's like, yes, payday. But then when she looks at him, because she's got her supervision, she's like, this is not the man from the poster. This is somebody else wearing facial hair that is fake. And hijinks ensue. And like, I mean, by like episode 2 or 3, the two of them are working together. He's figured out her secret. They are like, they have all of these like slow motion scenes where like 3 of them or 4 of them, depending on how many they need, are like putting on their sunglasses or flipping their hair and their costumes as they go out to like do their like hijinks. It's just fun. It's just so much fun. There's a terrible, I don't know if he's a half brother or a cousin, I don't know, whatever, who works at the company, who's a terrible human being, and, you know,
bad guy
stuff, right? Bad guy. Like that, him might as well be his name. Bad dude. Like, and
this man is not a good man.
Rich bad man. Like, okay, cool.
And that's where is that on Viki?
Yes, it's on Viki. But it's silly and it's nonsense. And you know, sometimes
you need silly nonsense.
Yeah.
And I think that one just fully finished too? Like, can you watch all the episodes now?
I can't remember. There's 12 episodes total, and I think the final episode was today. I think I'm halfway through episode 10, so I haven't watched this week's episodes yet.
Nice. But, I was waiting for that one to finish before I picked it up.
It's very easy to watch. It's very quick and silly, and so there's 2 more episodes next week. So
nice.
So it's just, you know, the right length, the right amount of nonsense. Like, it's just fun and foolish with a little bit of a serious edge at times. I mean, somebody was murdered. It's not, you know, there's a murderer running around somewhere, but like not in the way that there's like dead bodies popping up every episode kind of thing. So
sounds like I will enjoy that when I get around to binging it.
Yeah.
So for my next one, I was literally describing this to my husband yesterday. I've been watching this Chinese Republican era web drama called The Maid's Revenge. And it's as dramatic as the title sounds. It's essentially a soap opera that is being told in 10-minute intervals. And it's on YouTube, on the Youku English sub channel, and I think there are 12 episodes out of it already. 12 episodes out. I may have seen more than those, but that's neither here nor there. It's an incredibly toxic show. So I need to warn you, like, if you're looking for healthy relationship dynamics, this ain't the show. Okay. So it follows this woman who is, I don't know, she's maybe like 19, and her family gets murdered like in front of her. And then as he's dying, her father hands her a pendant and is like, go to the Fang residence. You have an engagement with like the son of the Fang house. And she's like, Dad, don't die. Oh. This is all in the first 30 seconds, by the way. Like I'm not giving that much away. And then this hot dude shows up and then shoots her nanny in the face, and then she's like, who the fuck are you? And then she like passes out because she's had a rough day. Okay. So she passes out and she wakes up and she's in this dude's bedroom and he has her like handcuffed to his bed, and she's like, who the fuck are you? And he's like, I don't have time to talk about this right now. Like, listen, shut the fuck up. Just stay there and shut up. And she's like, no, like, don't do anything to me. And he's like, I'm not going to shut up. So she escapes. And then she goes to the Fang residence where she's like, hi, I'm the daughter of the Dong family. And I have an engagement with the son of the Fang residence. And they're like, no, you don't, because the real daughter of the Dong family is already here. And she's the one with the engagement. And it turns out her personal maid, who was her age, has taken her place, like as, you know, this dude's fiance. And she's like, a two? Like, I thought we were friends. And the maid's like, bitch, we were never friends. And so meanwhile, she then finds out the hot dude is actually the uncle of the guy that her maid is now engaged to marry. But they're like the same age. It's like the uncle's really young. And the uncle's also like the governor of this town. And I will say he's kind of a dick, but he is smoking hot. like the dude that they hired, whose name is Dai Gao Zhang, like, damn, like, who are you, sir? He's a huge piece of shit, though. And then it's like he makes it seem like they're having an affair, and oh my god, it's so, I can't even go more into it because as it's told in 10-minute intervals, telling any more than this would like spoil too much plot. This is the most dramatic web series I've ever seen. The amount of stabbings and shootings that this show has on the regular is wild.
Are the costumes pretty since it's that era?
Oh, they're gorgeous. They're absolutely stunning. The sets, incredible. I don't know how this isn't just like a full-length show. Like there's enough happening. Like it is a wild ride. Like you never know where it's going.
Wouldn't it be a better binge?
It would be. It would be. And so I'm on episode 22, and where I'm watching it,
which is not
somewhere. I think there's like 28 episodes subbed so far, but on the official channel, there's 12 episodes. But I think they're putting in more. The 12th one is coming today, so I think they've been like updating it like weekdays. But I'm like so invested. And listen, I'm not usually one, like I don't mind soap operas. Like I find them amusing, but I don't normally get like super invested in them, except to like when I was watching like Young Lady and Gentleman. Like it was more like an amused investment. Like I was like, oh, what are they gonna do this week? Like what shenanigans? But this one I'm like, shit, like where are we going with this? Like damn, like people are getting shot, people are getting stabbed, there's like other fiancés coming in, there's like the evil mother, like, you know, betrayal, and you're just like,
I wonder what the Chinese drama term is for, you know, like
a soap opera. Yeah,
soap opera.
Yeah,
like because this is very much so. a soap opera. Like it's because like in 10 minutes they take you on such a roller coaster every episode.
And how's the music? Is like super dramatic music all the time?
Yes. Oh yes. But like it's good though. Like it's very like atmospheric and like it's it's as well made like visually as what was the house like House of Mirrors? What was the one that we watched?
Couple of Mirrors?
Couple of Mirrors. Thank you. Couple of Mirrors. Yeah. It looks as beautiful as that show did. It's more dramatic than that show. And that show was pretty dramatic.
Had some bonkers stuff going on.
Like, yeah. But anyway, I'm really enjoying it. It is on the Youku English channel. There's 11 episodes fully subbed right now.
How many come out a week? Like one a week?
I'm not entirely sure. I think it's the first one premiered on the 7th of September, and number 11 came out today. So I think they're doing one a day.
Okay.
Or maybe like one every couple days or something.
Though that would be like, since they're only 10 minutes, it would be a good like during a lunch break or whatever.
Yeah, just like you did a little, you watch it a little, you get a little.
Watch a little crazy.
It's so intriguing. It's so intriguing. Anyway, so that's the next one I've been watching. What about you, Sky? What have you also been watching?
So the rest of the things I've been watching, I'm not very far on. I have watched the first probably episode and a little bit of The Law Cafe. Mm-hmm. Which I'm enjoying. I know I'm a fair bit behind already.
Me too.
I had forgotten that the two main characters like knew each other when they were younger type thing. I had forgotten. And when I mean that, like they grew up as friends together. It's not like a one-off encounter when they were children or something. Yeah. I don't want to mislead. Like they were best friends and they actually had dated in college and all these things. So the dynamic of the leads having dated prior, like I wasn't expecting that. Which changes the dynamic a bit.
Yeah. It's a pretty good dynamic. Like I enjoy them together in it.
Yeah, because you already have the trust built in with that, because they already know each other pretty well.
So there's like that weird thing where they kind of know where each other's going with stuff sometimes, and you're like, yeah.
Well, and even
I dig that.
And since how many years have they been like apart? It kind of feels like 5-ish years.
Yeah, something like that.
Or even maybe more like 8. But since the characters have not shared their lives or space for a handful of years, they obviously don't really know their intimate, like why the main character like left his job. Like it's obvious that they don't know like the ins and outs of why they did things, but it's more like they trust that there was a reason behind the things, even if they don't know those things about you. So that this will all be revealed later. And
yes, slow burn.
I do think the concept of the Law Cafe thing is very cute. Anytime there's a cafe and something, it's like, oh, this is charming. I wanted to at least give it a shot.
We love a good cafe AU in this podcast.
Do. Yeah. Yes. It's just because I think the main thing in episode 1 was just simply like the main character being like, you're not going to be able to succeed. Like, there's a bazillion cafes in this neighborhood. People are busy. Like, I really don't think, and he wasn't being mean. He was just like concerned, but then doing that, doing the K-drama dude, like, so I'm going to take your consent away to even do the thing because I think you shouldn't do it. And she's like, oh, no. I will sue you over that.
Absolutely not.
Like it's amazing when they get into an argument with each other because they just quote like articles of law at each other. Oh, really? Because this point, this, and he's like, okay, but counter this point, this, and you're like,
I like this. Okay. I like this dynamic. I'm enjoying this.
Like, so I enjoy it, but I will say the simple fact of like. So I'm just feeling like typical K-drama dude as far as the willingness to take away the consent of like, you don't know what's best for you. I'm going to decide for you because
very patriarchy or whatever.
Like, that's pretty trash behavior. It's not enough to make me drop it immediately, but it is enough to be like, we will see if I'm able to stick through the show, because I don't. It's not just because of that one thing. Like, I'm going to watch a little bit to be charmed. I don't know if I'm going to dedicate the time to it, like, to fully watch it, because it was just a tiny little flag. And that is not to say that I have to watch shows with completely healthy relationships. I do not mean that whatsoever. It's more like I have limited time to watch dramas right now, so I don't know if it's going to earn the permanent spot to keep me watching. We will see.
Like, but I think I'm on episode 3, and I'm sort of like, oh yeah, I'm watching that. But
one thing I do enjoy is, an aspect of the show that I thought was very good. It's not that we're just lawyers. Like, the main female character, like, she pretty much has fought for the underdog in her position. Like, a lot of pro bono work, but then a lot of like industrial accidents, and not really trying to form unions so much as really trying to stand up for people who are dying on the job because they're forced to be in not good conditions and there aren't safety measures. And she's not like, it's not that she constantly pats herself on the back about being a good person, and she has like personal reasons, and so I don't want to get into all that, but essentially you can tell that the main male character has lost faith in the system completely for, I'm sure, corruption reasons or something. And she's pretty much like, but there's some things we're trying to make some things better, and we can only do what we can do type thing. So that might be enough to keep me in it, because those types of themes, I like those themes if they don't become too like silly or whatever. But
I mean, so far, like being on episode 3 or 4 or whatever, it's similar to other things where there's like little kind of case of the week deals, but there's also sort of an overarching possible, story going on, which is nice too, because it kind of keeps you going with the little law stories. But the thing that I like with it is that it's not all courtroom stuff, because that's her premise behind opening this law cafe, is that she knows that for most people, the best course of action is not actually going to court. It's getting things figured out before you go to court. And that's what she wants to give people. So, because
she talks about
effective.
Especially for the, the underdog type people, like families of people that get hurt in an incident or something. She talks about in the first episode, it's pretty much like, it's obvious when you do enough as a lawyer, you figure out in order to win the case, it's the little things along the way that if something was just done differently, could have been not really prevented so much as like for the underdog type person had a better foothold on like getting stuff done or getting change made or something. So I will say, so the actual plot is pretty interesting in that sense, I think, even if this isn't like a Taxi Driver type thing in the fact that they're trying to make this hyper realistic, but when they are talking about like accidents within industrial things and stuff, they're being serious. They're not taking any of that lightly. So even though there's cute bickering or whatever else and silly tracksuits or whatever, the show is trying to be pretty serious when they're dealing with serious topics. So it is a tone switch. I don't know. That typical mismatch of tone. I'm not saying it's wrong or bad. It's just definitely a tone thing. But I'm glad they don't handle those things lightly. It needs to be appropriately handled.
Yeah. It's respectful.
But like I said, one episode in, I can't feel general tone for it, so I can't really say much about that. But
that's fair.
I really do enjoy it. If I had like a heck ton of time on my hands, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll keep watching it. I'm just being honest with like, I'm way into Alchemy of Souls, so if I have time, I'm going to be dedicating my time to that right now. And also, I think there are only 5 or 6 episodes at this point of the Law Cafe.
I think so, something like that.
As far as where it is, it's on Viki. If you have the Cocoa Premium thing on Viki, so it's not the typical Viki subscription.
Yeah. So it's on Cocoa?
It's on Cocoa if you have the Cocoa subscription. So it's one of those if you're in deep. So if you just have the typical Viki subscription, you're actually going to be locked out of it. That is a thing, sadly. But good casting. I mean, fun.
Yeah.
Fun for those things.
So, Amanda, what's another show you've been watching?
I just started this week, a couple days ago. I started watching No Regrets in Life, Taiwanese drama with Annie Chen in it.
And where is this show airing?
Netflix. So it's kind of just wrapped up, I think. Mm-hmm. It has 12 episodes, and I think the last one just aired this week, maybe. Another former friends and lovers kind of separated for 8 years. They were best friends all through college. Basically, she decided on the first day of school, I like this guy. He's quiet and he's like reserved and he's cute. He's going to be my best friend. And she just inserted herself into his life and was like, oh, cool. You live there? Then I'm on your way. You should pick me up for school every day from now on, kind of thing. And he was like, I'm not going to do that. And she's like, yeah, you are. And he was like, yeah, I am. Like,
you sure about that, fam? You sure about that?
So they're best friends. They're part of a group that were called the 9 Sons. They were like 9 besties that hung out all through college, all best friends. And the two of them had this thing where, like, are we in love or are we not? Like, they never really vocalized it, and they weren't quite. And 3 days before graduation, she says, do you like me? And he says, yes. And she says, do you love me? And he goes, give me 3 days. And she walked away, and they never spoke to each other again.
Oh.
And so every year, the 9 Sons have a reunion, but there's only 8 of them there because as much as she has stayed in contact with the rest of them, she won't be in a room with him. And it's always his job to send out the emails to inviting everyone. And she has, blocked his email and stuff. So one of their friends, Spicy Hands, has decided, screw this. And he enlists the rest of the friends. He's like, enough is enough. This is nonsense. It's been 8 friggin' years. Either you guys are over it or you're not, but like, grow up, right? So he emails her and says, hey, we're having a reunion. You should come. And then she gets there and he's there and they're both like, ah! Afterwards, like, she storms out for some reason and he follows her and they get in a huge fight, like monster fight in the metro station that ends up with her biting him and beating him with a stuffed shark that was in somebody else's arms. Like, people, of course, in this day and age have videotaped this. It goes viral. She is known as Shark Girl with the nasty bite. And he is like Chicken Drumstick Boy or something because he got bitten. I can't remember. And it goes viral. Well, like, it's nonsense. She's got stalkers who are like harassing her online. His wife is unimpressed that he was in a fight on, when her boyfriend finds out about it, he's not real happy. Her boyfriend is much younger and like immature, and she basically has to take care of him like a parent. It's not a very equal relationship. And his wife is terrible. Like, she's just, they have from 2 months into their marriage, basically on a daily basis, she has threatened to divorce him for random things. Basically,
then do it.
He put his toothbrush upside down in the toothbrush holder once, and it pissed her off so much. And he has never apologized for it because he was like, it's just a toothbrush. Something new will happen, and she will start screaming at him to just apologize for putting the toothbrush up. Like, and he's like, no. He signed the divorce, but like they're to the point where their entire house has lines of tape through it.
Sounds healthy.
Because, like,
a good,
so they have
healthy relationship.
They pay their own, like, it's nonsense. And every time I start to think, okay, maybe she's not a terrible person. She does something else, and you're like, no, yeah, she's terrible. Great actress.
So is the show like a comedy, or is it more like a drama?
More of a drama. And it's weird because they're uncovering things. Like, I'm only about 4 episodes in, but they are uncovering things through this viral video. They're uncovering things that are the reasons why they were kept apart. And they're discovering that as much as some of their friends have, work together to bring them back together, that it turns out that some of their friends were the ones that caused rifts and caused things that kept them apart.
Shenanigans.
Not necessarily intentionally, but like some of them intentionally, and like just so they're discovering things about their past that they're realizing are maybe not as accurate as they thought they were. And it's kind of like sad, because you're kind of like in this place where you're going, what could have been? And so it does that a lot.
Are you going to keep watching it?
Oh, definitely. It's kind of neat, and it's interesting to see, like, every episode has sort of a big reveal of something that's not like it's not like murders and stuff, but it's like, oh, okay. So that explains why, because you kind of go, what do you mean the two of you never saw each other again? You had one fight and you never spoke again. But then you start to see these little things get revealed of why and how and why and how things are changing now, as opposed to 3 years ago or, 2 years from now. Why now?
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Very detailed.
Mm-hmm. In a very healthy relationship drama. I just finished literally last night a new, I don't know if it's new, I don't know what year it came out, J-drama. Because you never know on Viki, like a J-drama will appear. Yeah. Who knows when it's from?
You're like, who knew? And then you look at it and it's like
from like 2019. You're like, oh, okay. It was called Fight Song. And it follows this girl who is obsessed. She was this year. It is this year? Okay. So it is new. So her mother died when she was very young and her father abandoned her. So as a child, she went to live in an orphanage and she became obsessed with karate. It was a very nice orphanage. It was like a children's home run by a very kindly woman who loves the kids. So it's not one of those like, oh, evil or no, It's a very nice orphanage. She's still very close in her adult years and like still lives there. So she becomes obsessed with karate. And so the whole orphanage like bands around her to like get her into karate and like pay for her karate stuff. And she becomes like a champion and she's on her way to like represent Japan in the like Olympics. But she gets into a car accident. And she gets hit by a car. She's not in the car accident. And all through this, she always listened to this one song that her mother loved to like pump her up. This like one hit wonder that she was like obsessed with. And she listened to it all the time. It's the only song she ever really liked. So after getting into a car accident, she finds out, because she has a CT scan, that she has audio neuropathy, which is benign tumors, like non-cancerous tumors that grow behind your ear canals. And she needs to get that. She's very rare that she has 2 of them, and she needs to get them removed because they're growing into her brain. Yikes. But she will most likely go deaf after getting them removed. But she hasn't told anyone this. And so she's very depressed. And her best friend, who also grew up in the orphanage with her, owns a cleaning company. And so the orphanage, like the owner of the orphanage is like, girl, get off your ass and go work for your best friend's cleaning company. And so while working for the cleaning company, she's cleaning this guy's apartment. And it turns out that he's the songwriter who wrote the one hit wonder that she's obsessed with. Yeah, of course. And, he's been ever since he wrote that, he's done nothing. Like he's been trying to write a new song for years, and like he keeps writing songs, but no one really likes them. And so his company's like, you're it. It's at the fucking end. Like you either have to write a great song or like we're done here. And so his manager's like, my guy, go out, like get a girlfriend or something, like go meet someone and get some like emotional experience to like help you write this song. So he then meets her, and like she's listening to the song because she wants to listen to it as many times as she can before she goes deaf. And so he then plays it for her live because he's like, oh, you like that song? Like, that's me. And then so she starts crying, and he's like, will you be my girlfriend? And she's like, she's like, my guy. So anyway, so it sort of moves on from there, where this is all the first half of the first episode, where she decides that, yeah, she will be his girlfriend so that she can make memories before she goes deaf. And so she wants to like hear as many things and experience as many things as she can before her surgery in 2 months. And it's really a nice show. It's a really nice show. It's on Viki. And
isn't the best friend?
The best friend's also secretly in love with her, and he's a dude. Yeah, yeah. The best friend's a dude, and she like befriends a deaf woman that she like cleans for, like, and then because she was convinced like, well, my life is over, and then she befriends this deaf woman. And she's like, maybe not. And it's like the characters are so just wonderful, and like it's such a nice show. Like it's very innocent, kind, non-ableist show.
Nice. Love to see it.
Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. You can tell, like, these characters are written in such a way that you can tell, like, all of the, because you meet, like, other kids that still live at the orphanage that, she lives at as an adult now, because the woman who runs the orphanage is like, you can come home. Like, this is your home. I'm your mother. You can come live here. Like, I know that you're, hurt after your accident that you can't compete anymore. Like, you can come home. And then you meet, like, the other, her, like, the mother has, like, a best friend who owns a barber shop, and he's always there, like, helping out. And, like, you meet just, all the people that like sort of interact, and it's a really nice show. And earlier today I told Sky there's a show that I thought she would really like. This is the one, Sky. I think you would really like this song. Or this song.
The song.
Yes, because
is it a good song?
This is actually pretty catchy. But like, because he has to write a new song. So you hear the one song that he's written several times, but he also writes a new song anyway, it's a really good show. I really enjoyed it. So
that sounds really cute.
Yeah,
it does sound cute.
It was very nice. It was very nice. So Sky, what's another one for you?
I watched today's Webtoon, but it was a few weeks back now. And I really enjoyed it. I didn't even watch the entire first episode. It was most of the first episode. But I think it's really cute. Like, I want to watch more of it whenever I have more time.
I'm really enjoying it.
Is it still airing?
It just finished, I believe. So I haven't watched the last 2 episodes yet.
I really like her character. Like,
and her character stays great. Like,
it's always nice to hear.
I even like, essentially, I guess, the second male lead character.
Who knows? But I actually, listen, I'm going to be honest. I'm about to watch the last week, and I don't know. But I don't know who's who.
Well, whenever that happens, I sometimes just don't like. I'd rather
just be friends.
Be friend, like
yeah,
or just coexist as like coworkers or friends or all these things. But it's like, do you really need to commit? Like, do you really? Because
there's the age appropriate option, and then there's Troy Daniels. So.
Well,
like,
isn't Troy Daniel always the age appropriate option?
No, like,
I understand for sure.
Yeah, like, listen, it wouldn't be illegal for like her character Troy Daniel to get together, but there is a more age appropriate option presented within the show.
Well, so from the first episode, what I was going to say about the secondary character was, really like brilliant, like genius level, like business, so, like just great at everything.
Cutest face.
But like, you can tell that he is very put off by pretty much just because of her vibe. She eventually gets a foot in the door, and that bothers him, which that stuff happens, like, as far as
he comes around.
Well, I mean, I assume so, but I appreciate that, like,
yeah, they don't immediately like each other. Well, she likes him. She likes everyone. She's just so friendly. She's just there to do a good job, do the best she can, Whiting.
I was just looking at it yesterday and thinking that description-wise, it reminded me of a lot of like office J-dramas where the romance isn't necessarily...
Well, I do believe it was originally a J-drama because the J-drama version is also on Viki.
Oh, okay. Okay, so makes sense.
So, Natalia, you've watched way more of it. How is the level of romance in it as it goes on?
Like, it's minimal. Minimal so far. Like, you can tell that, like, I don't want to like give too much away, but like
you don't give me spoilers. But I was just curious. Yeah. Like that's what I was curious about.
It's like it's not the main focus of the story at all. Like I wouldn't even call this a rom-com. Like it's an office comedy.
I was looking at it thinking, when I have a little more time, I feel like I started way too much stuff this past month, so I need to.
I will say like the casting for her seems so dead. Like as far as being this really. And we're making it sound like she's so peppy. It's not annoying. No. She does stuff so well.
She's so kind.
And that type of person, like, is really good at encouraging people to, like, be better in an office environment. So, and I will say, definitely in episode 1, it talks about how, like, the office is obviously struggling and they pretty much have to be successful in the next quarter or whatever, or else crud will happen. So I mean, you definitely have the plot of we better get some good numbers or else not good things will happen. So it makes sense that a force of like encouragement and helpfulness would actually be of use in a situation like that.
And
but it seems super
a delight.
I'm really enjoying it. Like it gets thumbs up from old Natalia. So
cool.
And even in the first episode, like I would imagine that this continues. They'll go to like one of the cartoonists, the Webtoon like artists, and so their character kind of gets a little bit of moment to like, oh, you get their story and stuff. Does that continue on, Natalia?
Yeah.
So kind of like episode of the week, quote unquote, as far as here's another character to learn more about.
Yeah. And then you get introduced to like some new artists and stuff. So like they get put in charge of like, you know, new artists, and the one that she gets put in charge with, you just want to give him a hug. you're just like, oh, it's gonna be okay. Like it's anyway, he's a delight. The show's very cute. It's very fun, and it's on Viki. So
yeah, it's really handy.
Easy to find. So, before we sign off today, Amanda, give us a little rundown quick. Anything else that you've been watching real quick?
Still watching Black Dog with my sister. It's still dramatic AF for what we're dealing with here, but we're still enjoying it. It's feeling a little repetitive with the... Every single thing is like ramped up to 11 and you're like, it's really not that deep, but okay.
It ain't that deep, fam. It ain't that deep.
I did start Mental Coach Jegal last week. I've only watched one episode. It's okay. I like it. I plan to keep watching it. I just, like I said, I've started too much and then I got like sucked into No Regrets in Life and just kept watching it. I finally finished Mom, Don't Do That. I had put it on hold because episode 8 like ends on this like cliffhanger surprise thing that like I did not see coming at all, and I was not in the mood for. And I was like I was at the trailer with like downloaded episodes from Netflix, and like that was the last one I had. So
classic.
And then I just, because of the nature of what this twist was, I didn't feel like going back to it. So it sat there for like a month and a half where so I was finally like, okay, that's it. I'm just buckle down, just do it, bite the bullet, and put up with this nonsense. It's a really good story. It's really cute.
Any other shows to recommend?
Nope, that's it for me.
That's it. Oh. So for me, I watched the first 10 episodes of Coffee Melody.
What country?
My drama, Thailand. It's on Viki. According to my drama list, that's all of them. But according to Viki, there's another episode next week. So It's really boring. I'm gonna be honest. I was like kind of excited for it because it's Pavel's new show, so I thought it was gonna be like sexy, fun, coffee. No, real tame, just real. Like I was just like, okay, let's.
Ouch!
It's fine. Like
Natalia is bored.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with the show. Like there's nothing objectionable. It's just. It's dull. Like I'm just
but
like
it's not charming. It's not intriguing.
Like it's just like the characters are fine. The acting is good. Like I'll give them that. They do have this one plot involving this band. But it's like pretty obvious these poor people. They're not musicians in real life, and anyway, but they do fine.
Afford to get scrubs to come.
Yeah, they do fine. Yeah. Like the show is what it is. It exists. And another show that I'm also disappointed with, but like I'm too late now. I'm too far in. I can't stop. It's Oh My Sunshine Night. Which is, you can watch it somewhere online if you believe in your dreams. But
you don't recommend it enough to.
No. Like I feel like Fluke got done dirty by this show. Like the writers screwed them out of a good show. And I'm just going to look forward to Between Us coming out in November and like just pretend that this was all a dream. Cause I'm just like, like literally every other character in the show besides them gets to have a fun plot line that makes sense. And just them, it just doesn't. And you're just like, you guys are boring and you don't do anything. And it's like, these two have fire chemistry. Like, we all, I'm not going to say we all, but if you know, Red Wine in the Dark Night, okay? Fluke, okay? And it's just like everyone else in the show is like, getting all these like steamy, like sexy, like fun plot lines. And they're just the driest, like dull.
Talk about a missed opportunity.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And I'm just like, this sucks. Like, and I'm not one of those that's like, I want to watch people make out. Like, no, it's not like that. It's just like, the show has missed an opportunity that they had built in. And I feel like like Fluke got conned and we as Fluke fans watching this got conned because the show is not good. But
and you're generally easy to please with things.
I'm so easy to please. It's like as soon as the show was like the dad was upset that his son was an award-winning cellist and didn't want to go into the family business when the older son was going to go into the family business. And I'm like, he's like, what are you going to do with this music thing? I'm like, he's already an award-winning cellist. Like, he's set. Like, that's a career. Like, you don't need to worry, Dad. And I was just like, this man has never heard of Yo-Yo Ma. Like, this is insane. Like, this is literal insanity. And then it's like, they're like, and Fluke's character has a heart problem that's somehow fixed by eating apples. And I'm like, none of this makes fucking sense. None of this makes sense.
An apple a day keeps the doctor
Yeah, apparently
away.
it can also stop heart attacks. I don't know. Whatever. Like, the show is disappointing. And not disappointing, though, I mainlined Love Between Fairy and Devil. And that show is tight as hell. That show is sick.
So pretty.
It's on everything, but I watched it on iQIYI.
Is it even on Netflix?
I don't think it's on Netflix. Is it?
It is, yeah.
Oh, it's on literally everything.
Watching it somewhere else and then was like on Netflix and I was like, I'll watch it here. And then
I am obsessed with this show and I literally downloaded it onto my tablet so I could watch it again next month. Like that's how good this show is.
And it's really popular.
It's
like there are
really
videos
good
of Chinese dorms. I don't know if you've seen that one where it's like a dorm and everyone's got their windows open and they're all singing like the theme song from this like
they just like iQIYI just had like a special like
this thing
like fan meeting episode where like that they aired on iQIYI for like VIP iQIYI users. And anyway, the show is good. Like it's
she's got a new drama out now with Jang Bin Bin, and the three of them were on like a variety show together where they did a thing and they had to make her choose who her favorite and it was like, and so she picked like Jang Bin Bin, but like she like begged for forgiveness from Dylan.
Well, you get to stay loyal to the show that's currently airing. You know, I get it.
Exactly.
I get it.
Like this is what we're here for. But then later, like Dylan like beat up like Jang Bin Bin and
beat up in air quotes
in a competition. Like it was like he just was not going to lose. Like it nonsense.
It's
absolutely
the show is so fun. Like I was not expecting it to be as enjoyable as it was. Like and
so
the
pretty.
costumes,
like the CGI and stuff is so good.
Oh my god, those costumes! The perruquier was going nuts with those incredible hair. Not a shitty wig to be seen. It's gorgeous. Just anyway. A+, even if you like fantasy stuff, you'll probably like it. I know it seems kind of daunting when you look at it because it's a 36 episode.
Yeah.
But those 36 episodes go by so quick. Like you do not realize how much you've watched. And then you're like, oh shit. Like, no, like it's good. It has great characters, all sorts of fun stuff. It's great. It's a great show. I spent a good 30 minutes trying to explain the plot intricacies to my husband while lying in bed. The poor man, he was just like sitting there because like a lot happens. It's 36 episodes of a fantasy show. So I'm like going like, oh, these are all, everything connects. And he was just like, So anyway, it's really good. And and that's basically what I've been watching. Anything else, Sky, that you've picked up in the last month or so?
When I was away on my trip, I finally got to finish SpyXFamily.
Oh, it's nice.
I kept wanting to finish it, and we just didn't ever have time together to watch it. So we finally made time. That was the only thing we ended up watching. But it's really cute. And I did see, for people that do watch it on Crunchyroll, the season is coming back in October. I watched it on Hulu. Nowadays, US Hulu. So I don't know if I'll just kind of wait because we don't have a Crunchyroll subscription and I don't really want to just get one for just one show.
I can hook you up. Don't worry about it.
But it's really cute. Super short, of course. Just really fun anime. And then I will say that we will eventually have an episode later on about this, but like Love and Contract, I have watched the first episode. We will be talking more about that later. But yeah, that's a thing.
And Jessie wanted us to let everyone know that she's been rewatching the XFiles because when she's at work, she can't watch things she has to read, unfortunately, because she does a handicraft work. But she has been rewatching the XFiles and still loves it just as much as she used to. And also watched What We Do in the Shadows, which Sky and I are obsessed with.
See, I'm chomping at the bit about What We Do in the Shadows because I'm having my husband watch it and get caught up. And they just finished the latest season and I haven't watched any of it and it's murdering me that I have to sit here and wait.
So where is that on Hulu for you guys in America?
Yeah, it is.
It's on Disney Plus in Canada. Because Disney Plus essentially has everything on Hulu.
They really do.
Canada.
Like I've been watching. That's where I've been watching Abbott Elementary and getting all
such a good show.
It's so fun. And that's on Disney here. So
I will say one thing that I thought about. So we'll also be doing another camping trip soon, and I was thinking, we can catch up on What We Do in the Shadows. Like I was getting really excited about it. I was like, wait, that is a show to not have people here coming out of your camper.
Yeah, because wild shit gets said on that show.
Well, right. There's Laszlo, specifically that character. He'll say
gay is in, gay is hot, I want gay.
But as far as he'll talk about all types of stuff. So I was like, yeah, that is definitely one that we have to watch at home where we have a house,
actual
not just
walls.
camper. Yeah. because you do not want a poor little family nearby to be hearing Lord knows what from What We Do in the Shadows. But it is a fun show. I'm glad that Jessie is
enjoying it. And she says that she's been enjoying it. So
Yeah.
Good.
Anyway, this has been another episode of the Certified Noonas. Thank you for listening. If you want to support our podcast, you can go to patreon.com/certified Noonas, being part of the Certified Found family. Our home on the web is where our family lives, and they keep the lights on. If you want links to everything we talk about, you can go to certifiednoonas.com, our website, where we post links of everything that we've talked about on every single episode we've ever had, which is wild. And all of our episodes can be found wherever podcasts can be found, as well as YouTube. And we love listeners. We love our YouTube peeps as well. Think you're all fantastic.
If you happen to be listening to this on Monday, when the episode comes out, Monday night, we are having a live stream to talk about what's coming up in October.
Yeah, what's coming up in October. So be sure to check that out. Anyway, we hope you have a fantastic week. And as always, stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask, and keep enjoying Asian entertainment. Goodbye.
Bye.